Hey Brent, thanks for joining me today on Trusted Connections. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, Teresa.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just dive right in here. Start off by telling us how you got into real estate. What did you find appealing about it?
So when I was playing football, I knew I wanted to get into something outside of football when I was done. And, I tried my hand in a few businesses and ultimately landed on real estate. It's been something that's been in my family. My grandpa's a custom home builder. Still to this day, he draws his houses by hand as an architect, as an engineer, and then builds them. So it's pretty impressive. Um, but real estate to me just makes sense. I love great design. I love great architecture, and now that I'm in it, I'm falling more and more in love with it. So um, yeah, I really enjoyed going into something other than football. I've been playing football my entire life, and to be able to have another thing that I can do that I'm passionate about is is awesome. It hasn't been easy every single day. There's times where I've come into the office, like you know, you're basically fixing problems all the time, um,
Absolutely.
and it can be annoying at times, but ultimately I love it.
So, what would you say you've learned on and off the field that you've been applying to running your own company?
Um, the biggest thing I'd say is teamwork makes the dream work. I'm a big believer that building the right culture, the right team, the right group of people will lead to a lot of success. And I think, I saw that on the football field, and I'm lucky enough to be able to say I was on a Super Bowl winning team. Um, and really, it wasn't the fact that we were the most talented team out there. It was we were an unselfish team where everyone was doing whatever it took to make the team better. And I think when you have a group of people that are willing to do that, and for example, in the real estate world, if I can't make a showing, I've got somebody on the team I can call and they can make up for it. So I think those type of things in the business world can really help create a good culture because you always know somebody's there to get your back. If you're alone on an island, I think anything is tough. It's not easy when you're by yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So, tell me more about that. What is your company culture?
I mean, it's family. That's really what I would say is creating an environment that's fun to be around. When we come in every day, it's not a drag. It's fun to see everyone's face. We're getting work done every single day, and basically just creating an environment that people can be successful in and have a lot of fun. That's the easiest way to say it. Going any deeper than that is just like it's too much.
Absolutely. You've mentioned before that your teammates were family. So, what does family mean to you, and like how would your how would your employees, how would everyone say, they've been able to see that in the day-to-day operations?
I think when you say family, like you care about that person beyond what is going on inside the building. I care about these people. When I go home at night, I'm thinking about them. If there's anything that is bothering them or any issues that they're having, I'm there to help them. And I think, I come from a big family. I'm the oldest of five kids, and I always kind of felt like an extra parent in my family. Just being the oldest of five kids, you feel like you have to kind of take care of your younger brothers and sisters. And so, I taken that with me into the business world, and that I treat these guys like my brothers and sisters, and I want the best for them, whether that's in the real estate world, outside the real estate world. They know that I have their back. And one of the people working with me now is my brother, and so just having him in there every single day is just a great reminder that these people are family, but really I do have family inside of here. So
Yeah. How do you connect with people? How do you create trust, not just within your company, but with your clients?
I mean, I think it's just how you deal with people on a day-to-day basis. I mean, uh, how I act every single day towards these people, towards clients, is how I gain their trust. And, I try to be as consistent as possible. I'm human, make mistakes, but when I make mistakes, I'll own up to it and say, I made a mistake. Let's find a way to fix it. And that's how everyone in my office sees it as well. Like in this world, in real estate, really in anything, but especially in real estate, problems don't go away. If your roof's leaking, it's not going to magically fix itself. It's going to keep leaking until somebody fixes it. And so, I constantly say to these guys, like, there's problems, just bring them out. Don't think that things are just going to disappear over time, because problems in this world, they just become worse over time.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. It's so important to always remain open and honest with people, and to just be genuine in your approach with them. And the communication is key. And I'm sure that that's something that everyone finds to be so relevant, and that's a defining factor for helping to stand apart and stand above, most importantly.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was just going to say, like, when there is a problem in our business, there's not a point where I'm like, well, what did you screw up? Well, if it's a problem, even if you caused it, it's okay. It's not a big problem. We can fix it as long as you're able to own up to it. And I think creating that type of culture where people feel okay saying, I messed this up, is what leads to people saying that's okay and doing it. So that's all I was going to say.
Is that something that you learned um, from coaches, from who did you see doing that you admired, and you looked at that and said, this is something that I'm going to carry with me in how I lead a team and a company?
The guys that would try to make excuses and be like, oh, it was this guy's fault. He told me something. No one on the team respects that. And the only time the team respects those guys is when they stand up and say, dude, I've made a mistake. I'm going to fix it. Let's move on. And so I learned that in the football world. Like, no one's perfect. I don't care how good you are. Everyone makes mistakes. But if you're a guy that just constantly deflects, it's that person's fault, it's this person's fault, you're not going to be respected on that team. And it's not going to last very long.
So every career path we choose, you're challenged in different ways, both personally and professionally. And we have these, defining moments, or an accumulation of moments that, really make us question who we are and what we want. So what are some examples of pivotal moments you've had that have really challenged you in ways that you didn't see coming?
I would say one of the things in the real estate world were, when I developed my own house, I had to go through the process of buying the land, um, finding an engineer to go over where I could put a house, finding a contractor to build the house. Like, went through the whole process of developing real estate from the ground up and learned the entire process. And before I had done that, I thought of that process as a daunting process. How do you do this? And so I really try to be as organized as possible going through that. And what I learned through that process is, listen, if I put my mind and my heart into something 100%, there's nothing that can stop me. Like, I can do whatever I want in life as long as I love it and I'm committed 110% to it. So, I'm a firm believer there's nothing in life that I can't do. There's been so many things along the way where I've learned so many lessons, and I've learned through all my other business ventures that if I want something done the right way, and I want it done my way, I have to do it. I can't expect to just hand it off to this person. I can't expect to, allow this person to do whatever. I have to really just go all in myself. So that's just one example of something in my life that's happened where it was like, I don't know if I could actually do it until I put my mind to it. And once I did, I was okay. And now moving forward, if I was to develop anything, it's really not that hard of a process to me.
Mm-hmm. How do you apply the best piece of advice you've ever gotten?
My grandpa always used to tell me that a setback is just a setup for a comeback. And, I think we're all going to have setbacks in life. People could look at my life and be like, oh man, he's had it so easy. Everything has been kind of given to him. Now, growing up, I had great parents. I learned so much from my parents. But along the way, in making it to the NFL, I wasn't the most talented. When I was coming out of college, I had teams like Jacksonville Jaguars who thought all I could be was a long snapper in the NFL. There were so many people along the way that doubted me. And I've had so much adversity along the way, but in life, you are how you respond to adversity. I'm a firm believer in that, because everyone is faced with adversity. If you allow it to take you down, you're not going to make it to where you want to be. If you use setbacks as setups for comeback, you're going to be okay. And I've just taken that piece of advice with me throughout my life, because setbacks are going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say is the best failure you've had in your career, and how's it helped you with what you do daily now?
My best failure? I would say failing in the restaurant business. I learned so much from that. It was not easy to go through all of that, and all the things that I learned really helped me so much in the real estate world. If I could go back again, I wouldn't want to do it, but the lessons I learned from it were unbelievable. And I always had this fear of like missing out on deals. And so I always wanted to do deal after deal after deal. And, going through the problems in the restaurant world was like, all right, I gotta stop this mindset of, all right, I'm missing out on these opportunities. And so I don't have FOMO anymore on any type of investment opportunities. I'm just trying to find things that truly fit what I want. And if it's a perfect fit, then great. And if it's not, even if that thing goes up 10 times, okay, I missed out. It's okay. Oh, there'll be another one that I'll get. But I think, restaurant business really taught me a lot.
So do you think that taught you more about who you want to be in business, or was it more personal?
It showed me exactly where I want to be in business. And then it just showed me, personally, like everything you do, you're not going to be successful at. I always had this feeling, oh, like I said before, like if I put my mind and heart into it 100%, I think I can be successful at it. And in that case, I thought I did, but there were some things that I just didn't know about the business that I know now, that looking back is like, okay, you put everything into it, but you still didn't pay attention to this, and this. Like one example, weather. If the weather is bad on the weekends for 4 straight weeks for some reason, and it's in your perfect time where you're supposed to make money, as a restaurant, it's hard to make money. Who's coming out? It's bad weather. Like I never thought that I'd be looking at the weather to see if the restaurant was going to do good. And looking back, I'm like, oh my God, like, how did I not see this? Like, I should have known that these type of things could affect a business like that. And now you see what's happening to restaurants, like the state shutting them down, the country shutting them down. Like they're in a tough way. I'm glad I'm not in that business.
Yeah, I know. I guess it's a very, very tough time for everyone in that right now. And yeah, we're definitely sending them all lots of good energy to try and get through this. So relating that to how you run your team, when they come to you with, questions, opportunities, situations of, things that you've already been through, that from your experience it may not work out, or maybe they're just not thinking of different challenges that could come up along the way, as I'm sure people may have told you before you had started, your venture in the restaurant industry, and you're like, no, I got it. And now
Mhm.
you, as, running the team, how do you deal with that? Do you let them make their own mistakes, or, do you give them a little bit of advice, or do you just kind of, what's your thought process on that?
I try to give them as much advice as I can. I'm skeptical of everything. Anything that comes across my desk, I'm trying to, punch 1,000 holes in it and say why it won't work, and just put those out on the table. I think when I was younger, I was blinded by the fact of just looking at all the positives. So now I just try to lay out all the negatives and try to find every single one and just put it in front of them and say, here's what I think are the negatives, and these are the things that could come back and bite you. So if you still want to do it after knowing all these things, go ahead.
Mhm. I think that's good, because it does allow a level of support and comfort, yet still enough, um, you know, enough leeway for them to be able to explore it on their own, because it is important to not be able to, um, you know, keep people from doing what they feel might be right for them at the moment. So,
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
yeah,
Everyone makes their
that's
own decisions, and
mhm.
all you can do is just present them with all the facts or all the pros and cons of anything that they want to do and let them make the decision.
So where do you see the company going from here? You have the business that you have today, and what strategies do you have in place to, growing the company?
I'm just trying to find like minded individuals, good people at their heart to come on board, and people that want to sell a lot of real estate. And like I said before, when there are issues, these are the type of people that bring them up. They don't try to hide them. Um, the type of people that are just honest, good, hardworking people and care about others. I don't want a bunch of selfish people on board. And however that grows, I mean, I think we're big enough as we are right now, but I would like to continue to grow, but I'd like to grow organically with the right people. And so I'm not going to reach for business with people that I don't think I connect with or don't think see things the same way that I do. That's not what I'm looking to do. So, um, however long it takes us to grow and however big we grow, I don't plan on growing past the size of the Philadelphia market, this tri-state area. I don't plan on going beyond that. That's not a goal of mine. Just staying here, finding the right individuals to come on board, and then making sure that they stay with me forever. Like that's the ultimate goal. I grew up in a family where my mom owned 3 hair salons, and I remember my mom would give out, like gold bracelets when people were with her for 5 years, like a diamond bracelet when people were with her for 10 years, or the people that are there for 30 years, I don't even know what she would get them. But my mom's been giving those things out to people for a long time. And there's been people with her for 35 years. And I think that's the goal. Like, we talk family. The only way you got family is when they're with you for 30, 40 years. And so that's the end goal. And, treating these people with respect along the way.
So who else inspires you? It's clear your mother has, your father has. Who are the thought leaders that you follow? Who helps to kind of shape your vision of where you want to go and who you want to be?
Yeah, I mean, like a guy that I don't know, Elon Musk, what he's doing with Tesla and SpaceX, I think is like incredible. Guys that I know in this area, the Jonathan Brassington uh, of the world, the Steve Myers of the world, Billy Glazer. I try to surround myself with guys that are, really successful in their arenas, but also just good guys. All these guys I'm telling you, like, there's nothing I want from them except for just great friendship and to learn from them, because those guys have been successful in an arena that I haven't been successful in. I've been successful in football, but to be successful in the real estate world, in the business world, I try to surround myself with successful guys, but not only successful, but good guys. And, the friendship I have with those guys is long lasting, has been there for many years, and I think will continue for many years. So, just try to surround
Mhm.
myself with good people in the area.
What are you most proud of?
I think I'm most proud of just being able to overcome so many obstacles in my life. Like I said before, I wasn't the most athletic in college coming out, really wasn't the most athletic at any level, but I always believed in myself. And I always said from the time I was in grade school that I was going to play in the NFL. And I just continued to work towards that. And people that believed in me, I appreciated it. But people that didn't, I didn't care. Like, I still knew what I wanted to be. There was so many things that could have derailed me, and I thank the Lord for allowing me to be safe to be able to make it to the NFL. But yeah, overcoming all of those obstacles when in all reality, like, I had a great support group, but it came down to me just believing in myself. And I always tell kids when I talk to them, the best advice I can give to you is, respect people, your parents, your elders, your teachers, but dream big and work your butt off to get there. Like, hard work, there's so many people out there that just expect things for nothing. And in this life, in this world, you don't get that. Whatever you want, you got to go get it. And so, but the greatest thing about living in America and growing up where we are is you have the ability to be whatever you want. You have that ability. You have to believe that you can do that, believe in yourself, and then you got to work hard to go get it.
Yeah.
So, that's what I try to tell kids.
So, in the career you're in now, what would you say would be the equivalent goal of having, been in the Super Bowl?
I would say for our brokerage to be successful running with the same group of people that we started with, 10 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the big thing. Longevity and sticking together to me is the most important thing right now. I think we've got a great nucleus of people on board, and just keeping them, making sure whatever I have to do to keep them satisfied, happy, to a degree, and successful, selling a lot of real estate.
Yeah, absolutely. So our last question here, what is the charity that you would like to highlight today for our episode?
So my buddy Connor Barwin has a charity, MTWB, which is Make the World Better Foundation. And they basically rehab parks in the city. And I love what they do. Connor's been doing this for a long time. I've had my own charity at one point, but I didn't spend enough time on it. And so I'm a firm believer in, like, helping amplify things that other people are doing that are spending more time doing that. And I think that is something that's near and dear to Connor's heart. And I love what they're doing. They're transforming neighborhoods. They're really, some of the parks that they fixed up in the city. I mean, they're going to keep kids off the street, keep kids playing football, basketball, just playing at the park. And so I'm a big believer in that. I think, in changing the parks in different communities in the city, you're basically you're saving a lot of kids. And so I admire what they're doing a lot. And anytime I have an opportunity to help them, I do.
That's wonderful. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. Super appreciate all of your time, and I hope we can talk to you again soon.
No problem. Thank you, Teresa.